Welcome to a special episode of the Ohio Varsity Insider. I'm Steve Hare with Ohio Varsity, and tonight we are going to preview the Riverside Beavers trip to the state Final Four, Division II on Saturday. They'll play Massillon Perry. We've got head coach Bill Ross, Clara Granchi, Emmy Jarris, Annalise Davis, Cameron Palmer from Ohio Varsity, and we've got John Camp from the News Herald. And we are going to start with John. He's got to cut out a little bit early tonight. So, John, first off, thanks for being here and joining us. But give us a quick preview. What can we expect out of Riverside on Saturday at Firestone Stadium?
Oh, Coach Ross is probably going to say the same thing here in a few minutes. You just dance with who brung you. You're going to run your senior pitcher out there that's dominated all year, Annalise Davis. There's not a lot of left-handed pitchers around, so that's probably a look that maybe Massillon Perry hasn't seen a lot. And, you've got a senior battery, and I think those girls have played together for a long time together. They're going to rely on that experience, that pitcher and catcher with Annalise and Emmy Jarris. And you just have a murderer's row type of offense, top to bottom. Every team that they play this year, you talk to the opposition, and they're like, there's no breaks, no matter where you are. Look at the other day, the number 9 hole is Nika Dolce, and she had 2 of the hardest hit balls that stayed in the park with a double and a triple, and she's the 9-hole hitter. I was sitting next to another area coach the other day at the regional semifinal, and the last 4 batters in the batting order come up, and it's like I think it's Emma Wilhelm and Maddie Kevern, and then Olivia Powell, and then Nika, and each one he goes, God, she would be my 4-hole hitter. God, she would be my cleanup hitter, and that's just how good that lineup is. There's just no breaks. So I think you're just going to see Riverside do what they do. They're going to come out there. They're going to rely on good, strong pitching, a good game called by Emmy behind the plate, and an offense that is just relentless.
I think it's been 13 years since the area's had a state semifinalist in softball. What's different about this Riverside team?
The lineup. The lineup is what's different. I mean, you look at that mentor team, they had Allison Golick, and I think she struck out like maybe 245 batters that year. I mean, something else that's different is the opponent. I mean, at that time, North Canton Hoover was the number 4 team in the nation, and they had Jenna Lilly, who went on to be an All-American at Oregon. But it's just different. There is a hole someplace in the lineup. Even when I was at the Ashtabula Star Beacon, and Conneaut won it in 2000, and they had a lot of good players. They had a shortstop that played basketball at Youngstown State, a second baseman that played softball at Youngstown State, a pitcher that went and she played at Georgia Southern. They had strong players, but there were a couple holes in that lineup that there might have been a break. If you get this part lineup, these last 3 girls, you might be able to take a breath. That's what separates this Riverside team, is just top to bottom relentless. And there are girls that are on the JV team. There are girls that are coming off the bench that most teams around this area would die to have in their starting lineup. It's just an embarrassment of riches right now that Coach Ross has on his team.
What's it going to take for this Riverside team to take that next step, win that state semifinal, play for a state championship, and hopefully win it all?
Yeah. What's it going to take? I mean, just do what you do. I mean, if they play their game, they're going to be right there. I mean, they have a real good chance to win this first game, and then hey, all you need in a state championship game is a chip in a chair and see where it goes. Whether it's Anthony Wayne or whoever, you just put it all out there on Saturday morning. That might be the biggest challenge, is a Saturday morning game. Now, of course, the other team's got to do the same thing too. They've got to play that. But you're talking about an early rise and doing something that you probably definitely haven't done since you were in Myrtle Beach. And it was a heck of a lot warmer in Myrtle Beach than it is up here.
For sure.
So that's going to be the challenge, I think, is just going to be the time. But, if Riverside just goes out there, play your game, don't let the nerves get to you, don't let the moment get bigger than what you are, rely on what got you here, they're going to be just fine.
And I'm not going to put you on the spot and ask you for a prediction because I hate doing that. There's so many variables.
I'm good with that.
All right. Well, we'll save that to the end then. But my question for you is, looking at this Riverside team, what does it take to beat the Beavers?
You need Coach Ross's team to play less than their best. And with all due respect, and this is going to be a dangerous thing to say, it was probably good that they lost to Mentor and Aurora. It reminds me a lot of when Kirtland lost to Grand Valley back in 2015, where maybe it redirects you a little bit and say, hey, you know what? We can't just go out there, and the other team's trying too. And that might have been good for him. Coach Ross he could chime in on this, tell me if I'm wrong. That might have been good for him to lose those games. What's it going to take, though? That in those games, I do think that Riverside was less than their best. When you look at, they had just beaten Austintown Fitch, a defending Division I state champ, convincingly, 5 home runs, 11-3. Maybe start to drink your Kool-Aid a little bit. And maybe that was good for him to reel him back in a little bit. And because since then, it's just been an absolute wrecking ball, those 2 games. So what's it going to take? Yeah, just do your thing. The prediction, 7-1 Beavers.
Wow, you're going big. I like it. All right, John. Well, I appreciate you taking some time out of your night. I know you've got a busy week here with state softball. I think you're covering some baseball as well, and it's always a pleasure to have you come on. You're a wealth of knowledge in the area. We're lucky to have you. So appreciate you being here, and we'll see you down in Akron on Saturday.
I'm looking forward to it. Girls, Coach Ross, good luck. Congratulations. This is a legendary thing that you're doing right now. And, the ride's not over. You bring home gold this week, and let's run it back next year, too. There's a lot coming back next year, but you know what? Let's do it while we're here.
Outstanding. Thanks, John. All right, up next, we're going to go to Coach Ross. Coach Ross, thanks for being here. Appreciate that. The first thing I want to ask you is just how exciting is this? Last year, you took that next step and made it to the regionals for the first time in school history. This year, you've taken it a few steps further. How much fun has this ride been?
Yeah, it's been outstanding. It's one of those things, you talk about, and until you actually get here and get to feel the emotions and the excitement of these moments that we've been having, it's surreal. Like you just really don't know what you're going to expect and how it's going to feel, and it's been amazing.
What's been the most fun part of it all?
I think just watching these girls feed off of each other. I actually went back and was watching some of the films from the last game that were on Twitter, just looking at the reactions of their teammates when Emmy and Maddie and Becca hit those home runs, and just seeing the on-deck batters and those girls coming up and just being so excited to wait for them to get home was like that's what's been most exciting to me, is just watching these girls play together and how much fun they're having.
I know when we talked early on when you were down in Myrtle and some of the teams that you were playing and whether you were winning or losing, and it was just the way you were competing. I think you had a pretty good sense back then that this team was pretty special and could make a run. When did it really dawn on you that, yeah, this is the team to get the job done?
It was preseason. Like our first meeting that we had once our teams were picked, we talked about getting to states, and it's the first year that was the goal we talked about. Even last year, it was winning the district was the goal, and having done that last year, I think just what we knew we had coming back. The steps these girls have made. I can't even tell you how much better each of these girls have gotten this year. Everybody's a year older, and they've been pounding the weight room. I'm sure these girls will tell you, especially the 3 we have here too, that these guys are gym rats now, and they're just so much bigger, faster, stronger this year that you could see it early how much this team's improved.
When you look at the monumental challenge in front of the girls, I have to imagine they're prepared for this. You've played a very difficult schedule. You had that incredible 18-game winning streak in the middle of the season. You ran into a couple of back-to-back losses there, Mentor and Aurora, that, as John said, might have woken up a sleeping giant. Not necessarily sleeping after an 18-game winning streak, but when you look at everything that kind of transpired, did it happen the way it needed to happen?
Yeah, I think everything has happened this year the way it needed to happen. With the exception maybe of South Williamsport a long time ago, I think we could have had that one. But no, I think these girls have needed everything that's come to them. The big wins, going up against Gradishaw champion, the wins against Fitch, Boardman. We played some really, really great teams. And I think the Mentor loss, and I think the Aurora loss definitely were things that we needed. The Mentor one more than anything, because I don't think we played great against Mentor. I think we played pretty well against Aurora. Aurora was just a tough team that day. And it was a hitter's park that day for sure. But no, I think we needed those 2 losses. I think it really helped to focus us and get everybody back to reality. When you go on an 18-game winning streak, it's hard. I mean, even coaching, you just keep going out each day and you just win. And whatever happens, you just keep coming out with wins. We make a couple errors, come out with a win. And then when you start to lose games, that's when you get to really start to see some of the flaws you had and maybe even some of the bad habits you've collected with all those wins. And I think we got exposed a little bit in those 2 games, and we definitely had some really good practices after that. Refocused, and I tell you, these girls are playing the best ball they've played all year right now.
One of the consistent things that we talk about every time I call you after a game, after a win, is you jump on teams early. The offense just finds its way early on. You score those early runs. You let the pitcher settle in. How key has that been to the team's success this year?
Yeah, it's huge. It's absolutely huge. And, these girls that we have at the top of the lineup have done a great job all year of coming out and putting runs up early. And like John had said, the best thing is if we get some runners on early, you get to the middle, even the end of the lineup, we're still going to keep scoring runs. So, it's been outstanding to get up early. We saw that last game even when we had 2 outs early and, Maddie hit the home run and then we scored another run after that, still all with 2 outs. That, this team definitely wants to give our pitchers as much run support as they can. And I think our pitchers, get even more relaxed and throw great once they get that run support.
We'll talk a lot more about your pitchers with the 2 that are here and also your catcher. But how much of a luxury has it been just knowing you have 2 of the best pitchers in the area at your disposal?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's absolutely tremendous, but they get all the credit. I mean, it's nice for me to be able to have them. And, all year long, we've been rotating the 2 of them. And, going to the playoffs, I think, they were 11-2 and 12-2 respectively. And, for them to be able to pitch like that all season, it's just a testament to how hard they work. I mean, we're looking at that right now. Annalise is on her way home from a pitching lesson, while she's on this interview. So, these girls, they just live for this. And I can't express how much they work for this. Like I'm sure Clara threw today. I have no idea, but if you ask her later, I would bet she did. That's just the kind of players these 2 are.
When you look at, anyone from the outside looking in, they're going to look at your record. They're going to look at Massillon Perry's record. And a lot of people might say, well, that's going to be an easy win. But I think that area down there in Stark County and just how challenging their schedule is, game in and game out. Plus, they're playing their best softball at the end of the year. What have you seen out of Massillon Perry without giving away any secrets? What have you seen out of them that, raises some, concern?
Oh, they're scrappy. I mean, they're a great team. We scrimmaged them early on in the season, and like Coach Doherty has said, at the beginning of the season, they had some struggles, and they're a tight knit group. They found a way to come together, and same as us, they're playing their best softball right now. And I'm be honest with you, Coach Doherty is one of the best coaches you're ever going to find. So if you're looking for a team that's going to be coached up and ready for this game, Massillon Perry's 100% going to be ready for this game. I mean, he's going to have that team know everything that they need to know to get into there, and they're going to be confident, and they're going to come in, and as they should. They deserve to be here just as much as we do.
And I'm not going to ask you for a prediction, but what are you going to tell the team before the game? What are the important keys that have to happen for you to win?
We just got to play the way we've been playing. We've been playing lights out softball lately. We can't control what Massillon Perry does, but we can 100% control what we do. So if we come out here on Saturday and, we get a great pitching performance and we continue to swing the bats the way we've been swinging them, I like our chances against anybody. No disrespect to Massillon Perry or whoever, but, we like our chances against anybody the way we're pplaying right now.
Outstanding, Coach. All right, well, good luck to you. Let's go to Annalise. Annalise, probably one of the hottest players in May and, heading here into June. Both sides of the ball just dominating in the circle, and you've been hitting the snot out of the ball. But first off, how exciting has this journey been this season? Oh, we're losing you. You had great internet up until we brought you in here. I'm going to go to Emmy right now. We'll come back to you, and hopefully your internet will be a little bit better. So, Emmy, as the catcher, you've got 2 dynamic pitchers at your disposal. Talk a little bit about the strengths that each of them possess.
Yeah, so both of them are just some of the hardest workers I've ever seen. I've been have gotten the opportunity to catch for. They both work super hard. They have both really good strengths. Annalise has a number of pitches as well as Clara. I think they may have the same amount of pitches. They both spin the ball great. They have good velo. They can locate their pitches really well, which makes my job definitely a lot easier. So they both have a lot of the same strengths. I mean, both super dynamic pitchers. Um, yeah, I've been pitching for a long time. I've caught both of them for multiple amount of years. So just being able to see their growth, they've definitely grown a lot, both as players and pitchers, both mentally and physically. So yeah, they're just on any given day, they're always going to be a great pitcher. So.
And I, as I mentioned with Coach Ross, you guys jump on teams early. How important has that been, and what leads to that early success?
Oh, super important. As confident as we are going into every single game, it's always a great feeling having a little bit of a cushion or a run, differentiation. So, um, and it just sets the tone for the entire game. If you come out flat, chances are the other team's going to notice that, pick up their energy, and just whoever has the most energy, it really does affect how you're playing and the score of the game. So we always like to come out with a lot of confidence, a lot of energy, being very vocal in the dugout and in the field, cheering on our players. And that always gives us, a great start to our game, and it just encourages everybody throughout the entire game when you're talkative and encouraging. So that's definitely one of our biggest goals, is to come out every single game with an intense amount of energy.
You've been around a long time, fourth year on the varsity squad. You were there for the regional appearance last year. What's special about this team?
This team, there's no words that I can even give to explain how special this team is. It's not even just a group of girls playing softball. I love every single one of these girls so much. I Even if we didn't play softball together, I would choose to be friends with every single one of these girls. It's an amazing group of people, smart, talented, athletic, just great people overall, and that really does help with our chemistry. Now on the softball side, again, super talented, such hard workers. I can't. There's not a single person on the team that I can say isn't a hard worker. We come into practice every single day, all with common goals, also very important. Just working as hard as we can every day for, goals like this weekend. So not only are we a group of talented softball players, but just great people overall, and that really does contribute to the culture of our team.
Being in these uncharted waters, going to the state semifinals for the first time, there isn't a playbook you can look back on and say, well, this is how the other team did it. You guys are doing this all on your own. As a senior leader, what have you done to kind of get the other girls to just buy in and be confident rather than a little bit, intimidated by the moment?
Yeah, before every game, as Coach Ross says, we have a talk before, during the game, just encouraging words. Um, and relationships like this are built outside of games. So practices, being confident, telling every single one of the players that I believe in them as equally as I believe in myself. And that is true. That's not just me telling them. I truly do believe in every single one of the players on our team. I think any single person on our lineup or in the defense can get the job done, and just making sure that that's vocalized, just to give every single person reassurance that, like, you can do anything that we put our mind to. And working together as a group, that's such a powerful group of girls, kind of just individually working on that confidence and our skill set, and then coming together as a team and working together to, reach the same goals. Just that reassurance and confidence and communication throughout every single game and practice that we have really builds for that relationship with our team.
Outstanding. All right, Emmy. Well, thank you for joining us tonight from the road on your way to Indiana State. Enjoy your orientation, and best of luck to you on Saturday.
Thanks so much.
All right, back to Annalise. Hopefully you're in a better area. Annalise, coming in senior year, did you have the expectations that you guys were going to make this magical journey to the state Final Four?
Yeah, we first came in, like Coach Ross said, that we all sat down and we kind of set the goal that we were going to get to states this year. And from there on, I was just like, I want to get there. So, yeah.
Early on that trip to Myrtle Beach, you had a lot of success. You played some really good teams from out of state. What did you learn about your squad that kind of solidified your belief that you were going to make a run?
I think in Myrtle Beach, we learned about our weaknesses and like what we needed to keep working on, and like I think that trip itself made us like bond together and become more of like a family. So I think that's really what like made us like get closer and be able to make this run.
You've been a part of this team for 4 years. You played with some great players that are now shining in college, Amanda Kolar, Delaney Keith, players like that. What did you learn from them that's helped you become a senior leader?
I think I've learned that to just keep persevering and that they're like inspiration to just keep working hard, and that you're like if you keep working hard that you'll get to your goals and you'll reach everything that you hope to wish.
Being a pitcher, a lot of the game falls on your shoulders. You've got to shine every pitch, every inning. How do you handle that mentally when you're in the circle, especially in these big games?
I kind of just shut everything else out and just focus on pitching, and just like tell myself that I can do it, and that to trust myself, trust me, and that I can trust all my players behind me, and that I can work with my team, and that I know I can trust myself.
When you get into some tough moments, how important is it for you to shake off what happened in the past and focus on the future?
It's very important. It's pitching's mentally tough, and I think that it's important to just, like you said, shake it off if something goes wrong, and just like keep moving forward, because you can't change what just happened. So it's very important, and like I said, I know I can trust my teammates with whatever happens. So
As I mentioned earlier, you've been one of the hottest players through the month of May into June, both in the circle and at the plate. Where are you most comfortable? Do you find it that you're better off in the circle, or do you like having the bat in your hand?
um, I like them equally both, but I have to say I like pitching a lot. I like the feeling of like just being able to execute and knowing I could do my job.
When you're up there at bat, just knowing that, from 1 to 9, your lineup is so potent, how much does that help you as a hitter where you don't have to put so much pressure on yourself?
It's very helpful because I know like the people before me can hit, and the people behind me can hit, and that can bring me in if I get on base, and it just like like you said, it eases the pressure off, and it really does help me be calm at the plate.
We talked a little bit about that 18-game winning streak followed by the back-to-back losses. From your perspective, what did those losses do for this team?
I think it really like humbled us a little bit, kind of showed us like what we needed to work on, and that we're not as like mighty as we thought we were, and that we could still improve on things and become a better team.
Who on this team has really surprised you all season with their performance at the bat, in the field, all around?
Who? Sorry, cut off
Yeah,
a
just
little
a
bit.
player on the team that's really surprised you all season long, just through their consistency.
I'd have to say probably Nika. She really showed up for this team, and she really like went into her role, because I know at first she wasn't an outfielder, and so she really went into the role, and then at the plate she's doing amazing right now. So
And when your number 9 hitter can play the way she does, you're going to be in pretty good positions, throughout the season. She's done a great job. I don't know offhand what she's batting, but when your number 9 hitters hitting home runs and a lot of extra base hits and putting the ball in play, good things are going to happen. All right, Annalise. Well, I appreciate you taking some time out of your night to join us in this little interview to preview the state softball tournament. I wish you the best of luck on Saturday.
thank you.
All right, Clara, on to you. Just coming in, you're a junior pitcher, second baseman, and a phenomenal hitter, just all around great player. Let's start the same way I did with the other girls. How much fun has this run been, just leading you into the state semifinals for the first time?
It's been so fun. Just being with this team is amazing. Every single time, like even practice is fun. Just being with these girls and working hard together and seeing it show on the field is a really good feeling.
Going, like I asked Coach Ross and I think Emmy or Annalise, how early did you know in the season that, yeah, this team's pretty special?
I mean, since the first time we met, like in tryouts, I could see that there were so many talented players in the program, like top to bottom, varsity, JV. Everyone is so talented, and I knew that if we like play our cards right and practice hard, that we have a shot at going really far.
You're a pretty dominant pitcher in your own right. You've taken a little bit of a back seat to Annalise here in the postseason, but Coach Ross said this is your best lineup defensively, offensively. To you, is that what matters? Just putting the team first?
Yeah, totally. Team first. I mean, I think it's huge having our lineup, and I'm really superstitious. So rolling with the same lineup helps me like settle in knowing that everything's consistent, and Annalise is really like doing really good in the circle. She's dominating the other teams. They can't hit her. So it's really nice to see.
How much do you and Annalise talk as far as, in games when she's pitching or whether you're pitching? I mean, are you guys offering that kind of support to each other?
Yeah. I mean, I like to say that I'm her biggest fan when she's pitching out there because I love watching her strike the other team out, and then we talk in between innings and I tell her good job, and then we talk about how she's doing out there.
When you look at this Riverside lineup, as we talked about, from 1 to 9, it's just so potent. How does that help you as a hitter? You're at the top of the order. How much does it help to have a hitter like Nika, number 9, batting before you? And she's usually getting on base and hitting extra base hits. But how much does that help just having so many potent hitters around you?
Yeah, it's amazing. Coming up after Nika, when she's getting doubles and triples, she's in scoring position, I can just hit her in. It's really exciting, and knowing that like even if I get out, Becca's behind me to pick me up and get a hit, and just everyone is just crushing the ball right now. It's amazing.
When you look at the run through the postseason, I can't remember. I think you've outscored opponents like 40-4 or something like that. So you're putting a lot of runs on the board. Your pitching's getting the job done. The defense is holding up. What is it going to take in this next step? Is it that same consistency, or do you guys have to take it to another level?
Yeah, I think we've been playing really good. So just keeping our bats hot is huge, and I think our defense has been doing great. Boog's been striking them out a lot, and when they put it in play, I think we're making the plays behind her. So just keep playing how we're playing.
Give me a player on the team that surprised you through their performance throughout the year.
I mean, it's not really a surprise, but Maddie Proud has been doing amazing. I know she's hitting third in the lineup, and she's been getting so many RBIs when I get on base. I just trust that she's going to hit me in, and Becca's getting on base too. So starting the game off with 2 runs is huge when me and Becca both get on base and then Maddie hits us in, and she's been doing great at shortstop.
When you look at Saturday's game, Massillon Perry, they're down in that Stark County area, really tough area for softball. Our area hasn't kind of caught up to that area yet, but we're getting close. I think, 20 years ago, we were still playing slow pitch softball in the area. So, for teams to now make those runs to the state semifinals, I think we're getting closer and closer. When you look at your teammates, do you see, that growth of girls softball here in the area?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I've played with almost all these girls since I was like 10 at some point. I know Emmy caught me when I was 9, and Maddie and Liv have played on the same travel team as me for ever since we started. So just having the same girls grow through the program, the Cobras program, and Concord Girls Softball is just huge to see how it translates to high school and how great we're doing.
And John Kampf mentioned it too, that this team is really good, but next year's team is going to be really good as well. You're going to lose Emmy and Annalise. So you have the bulk of the squad coming back. You're going to be a leader of that team. And I don't want you to look too far ahead, but how much fun do you envision in your future?
Yeah, it's going to be great. Obviously, we're going to miss Emmy and Annalise, our 2 senior leaders, but having majority of the team back is going to be fun. As I said before, like these girls make it so fun. I love going to practice and games, and I just can't wait to have another year.
Outstanding. Well, best of luck to you on Saturday. Coach, I'm going to roll back to you just to wrap things up before Cameron and then I close things out. But yeah, just coming in, you got to talk to the girls and you hear their confidence and their excitement. What does it mean to you, though, just put on your dad hat again, like when your daughter played a few years ago, and things are just different when you have that relationship. But what does it mean to you to see these girls and see how excited they are after the work that they've put in this year?
Yeah, it's everything. I mean, the wins are great, but I would take this team if we were 500. I mean, I can imagine what, Massillon Perry is going through the same thing, that they just loving that team and having that team around. So no, this group here is spectacular. They're just so much fun to be around. And, we've had 2 days off here. We gave them today off, and it's honestly, can't wait to see them tomorrow.
Outstanding. All right, Coach. Well, I appreciate you and the ladies joining us here tonight to preview the biggest game in Riverside softball history coming up on Saturday. And we wish you the best of luck, and we'll see you down there.
Appreciate it, Steve. Thanks for everything.
All right. And now, Cameron Palmer, Ohio Varsity, Chagrin Valley Conference. You work for a couple other outlets as well. So you've gotten to see Riverside a couple times this year. How excited are you for Saturday?
I'm really excited. Started seeing this team last year, working for Ohio Varsity, and now a couple times this year, a couple regular season games, and then just recently the regional championship game. I know that I see the difference in this year's team than last year's team, and I feel the energy. I can see the vision. I can see the potential that this team has when it comes to Saturday and potentially Sunday with a state semifinal and potentially a state championship game. I mean, they say the sky's the limit. I think that this team can exceed that and go beyond that.
I think what you saw is one of Riverside's biggest strengths is once they start hitting, everybody starts hitting, and that's what they do. They put on those big innings and they start pounding teams and they demoralize their opponents. But how key is that to a team at this level in the tournament?
I mean, I don't think that there's a word to describe how important that is for any team, no matter whether you were a first round exit or whether you're still playing today, because in any game, conference games that count a lot, if you have a hole in your lineup and it can be exploited, it can ultimately kind of just spell demise for your team and winning or maybe losing that game. But when I look at this team, like John said, like we talked about, there is no holes. Typically it's the bottom third of the order. The bottom third of the order is just as good as the middle and the top third of the order when I look at the Beavers, and that is an extremely rare thing to see. And I wonder, like, how is Massillon Perry's bottom third? Like, if it doesn't match up well, then it can kind of swing things in Riverside's favor, and we'll just have to see how things play out Saturday, and that's what's going to make this trip to Firestone a lot more fun than it's already going to be.
Absolutely. I know I'm looking forward to it. I'll be down there. You'll be down there. The Beavers are definitely going to be down there unless they miss the bus. I don't think Coach will let that happen. But all right, Cameron, I appreciate you being here. And that's going to do it for this special edition of Ohio Varsity Insider. We previewed the Riverside Beavers and their run to the state semifinals on Saturday, 10 o'clock against Massillon Perry down at Akron Firestone. We hope to see everybody there. The Beavers need the support. And Coach, hopefully we'll do this again to celebrate a state championship, but let's not look too far ahead. Let's focus on Saturday, and best of luck to the Beavers.
Thanks.